Bag, I want the bag. Work my way from a garden to a track. Flip it from a track to a plot full of acres. Do it for the farmers and producers and the makers. What we even here for? Occasionally I ask it. I know it's more than struggling, anticipating the casket. Reap what we sow, trying to fill up my basket. Life's a plantation, I self-law and master. Over the plot I've been granted on this planet. Now it's slanted, cause the chosen been supplanted. But if you overstand it, it was spoken. Fractured, but we ain't broken. Even though some would rather play the role of token, we growing. Black through the essence of a presence. We carry the blood of gods, we carry the mind of peasants. Rich black gardens, future look more like Eden. Multiply seeds like the seed banks in Sweden. Rep my planners on plan according to season. B1 code, switching it up is treason. Black power, family what we eat. Either we get fed or we feed. B1AG.
What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Welcome to B1AG, the Daily Bread Podcast. I'm John Henry Harris. We have Farmer Brian EMC. Here we focus on Black agriculture as it pertains to agricultural production, education, marketing, health, food, nutrition, and economics, all for the Black family and the Black community. Welcome back. Before we get started, like, and share. Let's grow this conversation. Let's make sure that we're all a part of this conversation as it deals with our food security and food awareness. Today, we have a story coming out of Georgia, and we actually have the youngest certified farmer in the state of Georgia, and possibly in the entire country, with Kendall Rae Johnson. This is Kendall Rae Johnson, 6 years old, the youngest certified farmer in the state, and possibly in the entire country. And we're going to dive into this story because it's a great story, and it's also a testament to the power of our youth and the abilities of our youth when we put them in a position to learn and thrive. So that's today's story, is about Kendall Rae Johnson, 6, Georgia's youngest certified farmer. Farmer Brown, what say you?
Salute. First, I'd just like to say peace to the B1 family. What do they say? From the mouths of babes. When we're talking about a capitalistic society, that mouth, what do they say? Money talks. And so this young lady, 6 years old, I think this is a call to action. This is 6 years old. Going through the article, she was 3 years old when she first started learning how to grow. Somebody within her family unit, her care unit, understood, I'm going to plant this seed at 3 years old for this young lady to understand how to grow food. And at 6, 3 years later, she's become an ag entrepreneur. This is a beautiful story, and I hope the melanated family can glean some inspiration and activation from this.
Now, Kendall Rae Johnson, again, she did start when she was 3. She started out in a patio garden, and the patio garden grew into a little bitty something. And by the time her 4th birthday came, she had a full-fledged garden in their backyard, according to Johnson's mother, Ursula Johnson. And when they moved, she now has a farm. Now, Johnson's love of flower and vegetable seeds began when she was just 3. And now she has her own website called Grow Culture. And her budding vegetable garden was recognized by the city of South Fulton, Georgia, which declared September 28th Kendall Rae Appreciation Day. Kendall Johnson, she also hosts a kid garden club, and her business boasts 18 monthly memberships for food baskets from her garden. Now, this is what Kendall Johnson says. She says, it is a big feeling it's a big feeling in my heart. In my heart is the garden. The garden is special to me. The most fun thing about being a farmer is just being herself. Now, she hopes to raise $10,000 for an outdoor agricultural science lab for composting. Her main goal is to make new friends, make new things, and inspire other kids. Now, this is very important because, look, our farmers who are currently producing the food that we eat, they're getting old, y'all. And we need to replace the current layer of farmers with the youth, future farmers, people to take their place, to make sure that this food will continuously be able to be produced and also hopefully in a more efficient and bountiful way. So what she's doing is very important, inspiring other kids. Even here at B1AG, we boast that, we really want to reach 250,000 melanated second through fifth graders and introduce them to agriculture so that we can work on replacing that layer of our superheroes, and that's the farmers.
So when we think, basically Kendall Rae Johnson, she embodies, what we have in mind when we have this 250,000 second through fifth graders. She embodies that, and she's actually younger than that age group, which, bro, we got to go back and revisit this. A lot of times, even adults, and I see it in my professional career, are lightweight intimidated by this title of farmer. This makes all the sense in the world. I want to grow food. I want to feed the community. But gosh, I don't have a big tract of land. What would it take? And so the prerequisites of farming. And so farm is a tract of land cultivated for the purpose of agricultural production. Farm is classified by having $1,000 or more of agricultural products being produced or sold. And so what you'll notice about that, farms vary in size. There's some farms that are tens of thousands of acres. There's some farms that's a few hundred. There's some farms that's 25 acres. You can have a very profitable farm with a quarter acre, with an acre, just depending on how intensive your operation is. Being very specific about Kendall Rae Johnson's operation, I don't know if you saw the infographic, but she basically has a backyard garden and what looked to be a series of box gardens, and she's applying urban agriculture, and she has established a market. She has 18 different people who are going to come to her market and shop with her. What it looks like is she does subscriptions. What this is a CSA shared program. Community supported agriculture. She is leveraging, because I've seen this story now on a few different news posts. She's leveraging her star power. Whoever she's working with understands, okay, we're going to get X amount of attention for this new endeavor that our child has taken up. And from this, okay, wow, we have 18 people who's going to pay us upfront, either seasonal or bi-monthly, and this is the option of a farmer to decide how often you want to get paid. But we have 18 different clients who's going to pay us consistently for us to produce. What I think was beautiful about it, she wasn't talking about, oh yeah, I want to get rich. She was talking about, I want to meet new people. I want to make new friends. I want to engage in this thing that I like doing called growing. And once again, coming from a professional standpoint, if you can come from it like that, odds are you're going to be a lot more successful financially. If you don't just jump immediately in trying to get the bag and you really internalize the mission of what you're doing. I'm growing life to help life, to increase life. And it's just amazing to see that this young girl has figured this out like so early. I mean, I come across people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, have hundreds of acres of land, got nice amounts of money, and the mind immediately goes to, now how can I make this farm immediately profitable? What's the best one crop to grow? What do I need? And it's missing the point of it's producing something that people want. There is a thing with commodities, large scale farming, where you just monocropping. I have hundreds of acres of corn, hundreds of acres of wheat. But then there's another thing. She's intentionally set up a system where she's got multiple vegetables, multiple fruits that can be put in a basket and be sold directly to clients. She's not coming into this like, yeah, I want to supply Walmart and Kroger and Costco. No, I have 18 different families, clients that's going to buy something from my garden. So saying that to say, I mean, she embodies the code of what it's going to take when we have this B1AG conversation about what do localized food systems look like. And this is a 6-year-old family.
It's amazing. And I would like to share a video just to show how much attention this young farmer is getting. It's really inspiring to see.
Mayor. And so I'm glad to be here with the youngest certified farmer in Georgia. And not only is she the youngest certified farmer in Georgia, I hope she don't mind me announcing that she is the youngest intern that will be working with the Fulton County Commissioner District 6 office. And so what I say to the community, when you have this kind of talent and we nurture this kind of talent, the sky is the possibility. Because one thing about this young lady that I just love, and I do like the old folks say, the fruit don't fall from the tree. She's excited. Every time I see her, she is excited about being a farmer. She's excited about civic responsibility. Now, you imagine if we had 1 million, not even 1 million, I'd say 100. Maybe if we had 100 Kendall Rae Johnsons, where would we be as a society? That's right, let them know. We would be much further in society if in our young people we instilled a thrive, a love to be involved. And so what I say today, I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I do have something special for you in a few moments, but I will say this, Miss Little Kendall Rae Johnson, at the tender age of 57 years old, you have shown me I need to do better. You have shown me there is so much more in life as a public servant, that if you do what you do at this age, imagine what I need to do in the next 2, 3, or 6 years. And so I'll say to you, our youngest certified farmer in Georgia, and now our youngest intern in the Mighty Six office, Godspeed. Today is your day, and we are honoring you. Thank you. So we have a proclamation. This is the highest form of recognition at the county level. We have a proclamation stating today, whereas 6-year-old Kendall Rae Johnson was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and has been playing in the dirt since she was 3 years old, having been inspired by her great-grandmother, Laura Kate Williams. And whereas Kendall Rae Johnson began planting seeds of cucumbers, peppers, tomatoes, and broken collard green stems. Boy, that takes me back. And as her garden grew, her neighborhood friends were invited to help harvest her garden. And whereas Kendall Rae Johnson is currently the youngest certified farmer in the state of Georgia, with a business formation with the state and federal government. Now I'm going to say that again for the people that didn't understand. With a business formation with the state and federal governments, and has obtained her farm and tract ID. And whereas Kendall Rae Johnson, along with House Representative Mandisha Thomas of the 65th District, issued a press release encouraging support of the Young Farmers Program for kindergarten and high school students in the city of South Fulton. Their combined efforts helped to raise $85,000 to support the program. And whereas Kendall Rae Johnson regularly attends Georgia Agriculture Summits, services 18 monthly memberships for food baskets from her own garden, hosts a kid garden club, and inspires other young people through public speaking engagements about her farm. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Fulton County Board of Commissioners commends Kendall Rae Johnson for her inspiring example and supports her efforts in promoting the growth of locally sourced produce and increased interest in agriculture as a career path for other young Georgians, and does hereby proclaim Tuesday, September 28, 2021 as Kendall Rae Johnson Appreciation Day in Fulton County, Georgia. So Kendall Rae Johnson, this is your day, sweetie. You have not only inspired the adults and the seniors in front of you, you have surpassed us, inspired a whole new generation. And so what I say to you again is we appreciate you in the city of South Fulton. We appreciate you in Fulton County, and we appreciate you in the state of Georgia. And thank you, thank God, thank your parents, and thank your enterprising young mind to do something at such a tender age that some of us never do. Can you please put your hands together again, Frank? And Kendall, can I get a few words here?
Thank you, everyone. Happy April Cookie Day. Thank you.
Yay. Great job.
What do you say in that situation, man?
Wow.
we throw that word black girl magic around, right? But I mean, what do you say in that situation, family? When we're thinking about all of these changes going on in society right now, we think about these so-called mandates and restrictions. We're constantly being fed this constant diet of fear. Oh, be worried, you're dependent. You can't do this, you can't do that. This is a 6-year-old. This is a 6-year-old. She wasn't educated. She don't got a master's degree or doctorate. I doubt she's, she ain't spent too much time in all of these. My grandfather always said, keep it simple, stupid. What is it you want to do? What is the shortest distance from where you are to where you want to be, and do it? And this girl embodied that, right? I don't think I think the woman was being conservative that was giving her the award. She said inspiring kids in Georgia. This should be inspiring melanated kids across this country. Are we saying that everybody should just, jump into agriculture and become a farmer? What I can tell you, agriculture is a $1 trillion a year business, and it's not just producers. There's somebody that has to get on the phone and make these sales to those 18 different people. You heard they said she has a club where she's bringing other people into her garden operation to teach them how to garden. There's a bag in that, family. I think there's a much more spiritual, altruistic bag that comes with that. But, for those in the fiat, there's a bag with that. There's grants for that. What are the other areas? Okay, somebody's doing branding, to brand her product. Obviously, the goal is, okay, I got 18 now. My goal is to expand. So maybe next year I'll have 36. And the goal is to expand. And so think about it. If she's 6 now, look at the potential. But multiply her as one individual, multiply her potentiality times if we can get 250,000 third through 5th grade melanated kids to be on this same path. Because we know right now in North America, we're between about 40,000 to 50,000 total melanated farmers out of 3.5 million. Not to disparage anybody else's group, we keep it B1 here. But a lot of people are running off the farm because it's not as profitable as it used to be. See, our ancestors did a lot of the work that made these large farms what they are. It ain't happening no more. The subsidies that a lot of farms have gotten used to being able to operate, that many of our melanated farmers haven't had access to, they're drying up. It was second nature for our ancestors. It's in our DNA, literally. This young girl is an embodiment of that. She bodied this. And I think the irony is, when we think of Fulton County, when we think of Georgia, the importance of Georgia, not only in agriculture, it's actually one of the few states where there's a larger than 3 or 4% representation of melanated farmers. I think they have maybe 44,000 total. And of that, I think Georgia might be like between 5 and 7%. I know in Kentucky, we're at 77,000 and we only have like 1.3% melanated farmers. So in Georgia, not only is that an agricultural hub for melanated people, it is a cultural hub for culture, what drives culture. And it's not like she's in deep rural Georgia, where you got sisters like Shirley Sherrod, who's been screaming at the top of her lungs for the last few decades, trying to bring some attention down there in Southwest Georgia. She's close to Atlanta. She's close to the A. So what if you got some of these hustle-minded kids in the A who already know, they understand the concept of business. That's a part of their DNA. Since we're talking about these gene therapies, how do we do some therapy to make sure that, you know, I got this hustle in me, I got this ability to get product to consumer, but I'm going to incorporate this fresh produce that I know my ancestors been doing for generations, for centuries, but we're going to reintroduce it and put that spice on it. We have a template right here. The code is the leader. This young lady just showed us that, hey, we can do this. I imagine she has family support. So when we think about, okay, people are losing jobs right now because they're making certain decisions that fit their household best. We see a lot of these mandates. We see a lot of shortages going on in the stores. We see a lot of fishy activity going on. We think about the HBCUs, which is another topic, but it ties every bit into this. And so these HBCUs, a lot of us, we think about HBCU for the band, the fun, all of that. But when you think about these areas, specifically in the Southeast where you got most of your melanated farmers, those are where your cooperative extension offices are that would typically have an interest in working with melanated farmers. And so if you're in a situation where you have an administration that's talking about, and I'm going to take you from 45 billion to 2 billion for your HBCUs, a part of that will be cutting out those extension services that this group of farmers who are already having a hard time getting some support, getting some research-based information are having. So what she represents is, this is what this looks like to be able to be Birdman, fly in any weather. This is great, man.
I definitely applaud the young sister. I applaud her family. And I hope that the B1AG family can really see how important it is to get our youth involved in agriculture. You know, it is an opportunity to make money. This knowledge is a survival skill, but more importantly, it's a part of our DNA. And this is how we are food secure. This is what really will keep you from being hungry, is having the knowledge to grow your own food and apply that knowledge consistently. You'll never go hungry. You know how they say you can give a man a fish, but if you teach him how to fish, he'll, feed himself for a lifetime. It's the same thing. You teach them how to plant this seed, teach them how to grow and nurture. They'll be able to feed themselves for a lifetime.
She probably had all sorts of money. She probably had all sorts of help and education. A small farm, to start a small farm, the cost ranges from about $600 to $10,000. $600 to $10,000. I will say, if you're really wanting to do an intensive operation, especially on small scale, maybe an acre or so, if you invest about 15 to 20, you can easily get a profit of about 50 to 60,000. And this is, very intentional, high market value products, having your marketing already in place. Some of the things you want to take under consideration. So what is the size of it? What type of equipment you're going to need? If you're on just an acre or so, obviously you're not going to need a $75,000 tractor. You do good with, personally, I'm a proponent of knowing how to do it with your hands, using the minimal amount of inputs or heavy equipment as possible. That's obviously going to cut down on your cost. But what you don't use in equipment, you do have to have manpower. You do have to have labor. The type of labor required. And so am I going to have to pay people to use equipment to make this farm operate? You're obviously going to need structures if you're wanting something that's going to sustain throughout the year. This is where your high tunnels, this is where your greenhouses, this is when that will come into play. What products? So what products are you going to sell? Like I said, one of the key words, even with the larger agricultural operations, especially in the last 5 years, is diversification. The days of I'm just going to grow one thing and be profitable, those days are rapidly, they're diminishing. And so, the benefit we have as a community that hadn't really been participating in this like our ancestors did is we can come in with new ideas. It literally takes being codified around what are the specific things that the people in your area eat. you want to keep it sustainable. You don't want to have a base of people that you got to travel 100 miles, 200 miles to take your food to, because then you got to factor in your fuel cost. You got to factor in time. Do you have somebody that's willing to, okay, I got 2 orders that's 200 miles away. Is it worth me leaving my central location to do that? And so you really want to have all of these things in place before you actually start your farm up. Another part of this conversation, so like I said, your labor, the size of farm, how much time is it going to take? You're not just going to throw a seed in the ground and it turns into a successful operation. So time, do I have at least, I would say rule of thumb, you got to have at least 3 days out of a week. 3 days out of a week where you're willing to put in multiple hours, anywhere from 3 to 5. Some people I know put in 12 hours easily 3 times a week at their farm. Just your weeding, your maintenance, constructing, just making sure that your operation runs efficiently. And your products. And do you own the property or are you renting it? And so it is possible, if you already have property of your own, obviously that's a cost that you don't have. But it is also possible to rent property. I don't have the infographic with me now, but there's a large percentage of farmers that don't actually own the land that they farm on. They're just renting it or leasing it. And so all of these are options. There was one thing I heard, and I got to put this out here. I have to take my professional hat. I will keep my professional hat on and keep my professional opinion out of it. So there's a thing of a farm ID. The farm ID is basically a farm number, identifies yourself as a farmer for government purposes. However, the farm number remains associated with the land, not the farmer. The history of production remains connected to the farm number. So if you decide to sell the land, the farm number and production history remain a part of the value of the land. And so the benefits, and so just like we have other discussions in society where I don't want to give medical misinformation, I'm going to say I don't want to give agricultural misinformation. But I do hope the family eats Ray, eBay, Eamtway, Ede, Einsley, at they I'm eating Ray. Registering your farm means that when programs become available that could be useful to you, you will be already in the FSA, Farm Service Agency system, and ready to apply. So where have we heard this FSA? This is, some of the loan agencies. This is where some farmers go, that do have access to get subsidies and assistance for their operations, FSA. So if you have this farm ID number, then I'll move you up farther in line when it comes to getting loans, access to grants and certain resources. That is good if there's a history of your group, getting access to this. And so I'm not giving, I hope the family's reading between the lines. It is good to have a farm ID. It's equivalent to your EIN as a business owner. I will say that there's a lot of people that grow food that might not necessarily have a farm ID. And so don't limit yourself and say, oh, well, since I don't have a farm ID, I'm not a farmer. I imagine if we put those numbers in the mix, this dynamic we talk about will be very different, but that's a whole nother topic. But also with the farm ID number, you can apply for FSA loans, disaster assistance, crop insurance, as well for NRCS programs like the Environmental Quality Incentive Program. So the NRCS, for example, the National Conservation and Resources, so I've actually gotten grants with them doing educational courses. I did hear in this story that she's doing something with composting. And so I imagine there's a bag available. There's a grant available, just figuring out different ways to conserve, figuring out best management practices for your operation. And so by having a farm ID number, you do get relatively, the odds go up that you'll be able to access these resources. I'm not leaning one way or the other, but this is the benefit of having a farm ID. And then with the farm number, your farm will be counted in the agricultural census. Accurate data on the number of farms in your county could translate into more resources to support farms in your area. I just have to put that information out there for the family, because I will say there are some people who are melanated people who are able to access these resources. I know them, but I will also say I know more people who haven't been able to access these resources of our melanated persuasion than who have. And so that's just something to keep in mind as you're planning your operation. A farm like this, this young lady, best believe there was some planning that went behind her doing this. And I think what makes me salute this story even more is the fact that it is a 6-year-old that has the mental capacity to operate and navigate in this space, because it doesn't take a lot of intellect, family. It really takes, hey, there's a thing I want to do. I have something that I'm good at doing. I have a means of producing it. This means is growing. I know how to grow a small garden. So, okay, once I know how to plant this seed, I can just amplify this activity of planting a seed and turn it into a business. And she understands it on a rudimentary, innocent level. And to me, that's the best way to come in. It's been my experience. People that come into this just immediately, I want to get an immediate bag. They don't last long, because it will be frustrating when, I didn't get as many customers as I thought I would get. I got all of these unexpected costs that I didn't think I would have, getting this farm. So you really want to think this out. And like I said, in my professional opinion, really think about providing a product that people need. In the melanated community, we have all the reason in the world right now to want to feed one another. I think of all the things that divide us, this is one of the great things that can bring us together, irregardless of religion, ideology, gender, all of these things that we see being used to divide us right now. I know that we can agree that we all have to eat. And so supporting efforts like this young lady, supporting, different CSAs, if you can find local farmers where you're at, be a part of some of these Black farmer groups online, whether you're talking about Facebook or Instagram, Black farmers nationwide, Black owned farms. These are great ways to get engaged. This young lady, I mean, I don't even know what else to say. I don't even know what else to say. Even if you're just the most staunch city person, business person, you can have a farm. A 6-year-old can do it. A 6-year-old can do it. Maybe you don't have to be on the farm. Maybe you're just the one that knows how to procure this space. Maybe you understand logistics and you got a group of young kids that you don't really like what's going on with these schools, and so you want to have an alternative means of educating them. And so what better way to educate somebody at this ripe age of immersing them immediately into commerce, the commerce of products, agricultural products that can be grown, getting them into urban agriculture, because that was her first operation with those box gardens. That's urban agriculture, making the most use out of smaller space. This is huge, family.
And then she actually started on her own patio. She started on her porch because her parents at first lived in an apartment. So she started from her patio to now she's running her own business. 18 subscribers, 18 different subscribers every month pay for food from her garden. Wow.
Put this in perspective.
Wow.
Some people online, I got it to 10,000 subscribers, 100 million subscribers. Are they eating your content? She has 18 subscribers. These are people who are eating a real thing that's going to feed them. Peace. This is what it's about. Because the thing, us old cats, I consider myself we're kind of fixed in our minds about, what do they say? Can't teach an old dog new tricks. But what I know with these kids, all you got to do is plant a seed with them. All they got to do is see the parents, the people I look to for inspiration. They value this. I know this dad is going to give me an extra hand clap or rub on the head if I came out here and showed him I know how to water this plant. If I show interest in this garden. Maybe dad or mom isn't the best gardener in the world, but I hear, these kids listen. Their little antennas go up, they listen. And so it's psychologically, it's called positive reinforcement, right? And so through this positive reinforcement of, hey, this is something that's valuable to us. This is something we see as important. And you let them kids, like you said, on the balcony. I think that's dope, right? Started from the bottom, now we here.
And still have, and it's easy to see that her journey is far from over. We might be looking at the real Queen Sugar.
You said might be?
We are.
At 16, 17, if she decides to go to college, at 16, 17, okay, she's 6 now. So you think of 10 years of positive reinforcement from family, positive reinforcement from direct community, positive shares like the sister Chris MC. So the positive shares from the outside community saying, hey, young sister, this is important. We value you. So you do that for 10 years. This woman is the next Booker, not Bookerist T. Washington, Bookerist T. Watley. She becomes the first Kendall Rae Johnson. And we're talking, you think about these scholarships that would be available for this young lady. You think about the leverage she would have within agriculture. I don't know if you have that infographic right now, especially for the sisters. So in North America, women only represent 13% of the agricultural population. Only 13%. And so when I think about Black Girl Magic, when I think about the sisters and elders that I've been blessed to be around, when that mind goes to, you know what, I'm going to do something about that. When that challenge becomes something that's valuable to our sisters, they beast, they master it. Actually, in the West, this is the only place where women are a minority in agriculture. So that is my challenge to the sisters. How can we support this young lady, and how can we make this a part of the conversation? Because when we talk about this future, when we talk about countering this concept where they say, oh, the melanated family, y'all going to be at zero wealth by 2040. I can't deal with it, family. And I don't see that. I see stories like Kendall Rae Johnson becoming the norm. These become the pictures that go viral on TikTok.
Kendall Rae Johnson. Know her name. We salute you. We're proud of you. I really, her parents and her grandmother, great grandmother who inspired her, I salute them all. Let's do the same for our own family. We suggest agriculture, but whatever that specialty, that talent, that thing that makes your family unique, the thing that runs through your family's blood. Let's never forget to inspire our youth and allow them to learn and grow and flourish in what our family does the best. Whatever talent it is, whether you're an auto mechanic, whether you're a painter, whether you're a builder, construction, woodworker, whatever your talent is in your family, just never forget to expose this to our children and make sure that they can work with their hands. I hope y'all are feeling very inspired today. I was very happy to see the story. I'm a big guy. Some people think I look scary and mean. Oh well, but I'm really a softy at heart. You know what I'm saying? And I just love to see stories like this. It makes me feel real good and fuzzy on the inside. And I do feel inspired to know that, our youth, our youth are here to pick up the ball and run with it. It's very inspiring.
We see with these social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, just over the last week or so, what the effect of that is on our children's minds. The body shaming, the insecurity. That's not gonna cultivate a winning generation. But the fact that this young lady knows how to produce life, the degree that we're able to make that important, the degree we're able to broadcast that, make it grow viral, pushing that Black algorithm, the degree that we can do that. The degree we can push this Black algorithm, just in case your Facebooks of the future want to shut everything down because somebody blew a whistle, just in case just general conversations we're having become taboo. I don't think you can shut down the concept of growing food. And so if our children have choices, this brain trust that we have developing in the melanated community, if they have choices, okay, my online persona, it might get shut down, but in real life, I can produce something that people actually consume. Oh, these shipping containers are shut down from China or overseas, I can grow something in my backyard. I can grow something within this cooperative that me and my high school buddies, me and my elementary buddies decided to go in on, right? And so it's creating options, not being bound to one mindset, not being bound to one agenda, but creating our own B1 agenda that feeds us, literally.
Here at B1AG, we're going to continue to push the Black algorithm, despite whether they want to censor or shut down anything online. We're going to push this Black algorithm because, just like we're online now, it's more important that we're trying to get these seeds planted in real life out here in this real earth, in this real dirt, to grow some real food, and that's real security. Again, we're pushing this truth, small scale, localized food production, that equals food security. And that's what we need, food security. So they're doing strange things to the food anyway. So we might as well grow it, and therefore we know what's in it, and we know what it is. Kendall Rae Johnson, 6 years old, Georgia's youngest certified farmer. Great story, very inspirational, and she can also attest to this, that if you really, really want to know something, if Kendall Rae Johnson was here right now, what would she tell us we need to do, Farmer Brown?
If you really want to know something, from the mouth of the babies, Kendall Rae Johnson would say, learn how to grow something.
There it is. B1AG family, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. It is the start of the weekend. Be safe. Spread love. Plant great seeds in fertile ground, and let's rest up for the upcoming week. Until then, I'm John Henry Harris. We have Farmer Brown MC, and we'll see you next time. Peace.